Alright, today with the beginner Shaela deck. This deck has all the same rules as the other beginner decks that we've featured so far, as it only has mono stones and we're sticking to rare cluster only. So to kick us off, the strategy is to play a high tempo oriented game where we have good statted low cost cards that either tutor or bounce or are just general beat sticks. So then when the opponent chooses blockers, we're going to return them to hand. So kick us off with the Shaela ruler. We have Judgment for 3 cost. We have the Energize for water. We have a continuous ability saying the weather is rain during your turn. So we're going to feature Shayla's rain ability throughout the video. And she has a tap ability, search your deck for a card named Weather Change Rain, reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. The J ruler side is less relevant, but you do get to draw a card, and the weather is always rain, so even on your opponent's turn. Now the Weather Change Rain card is this card is quick cast, 1 cost. The weather is rain until end of turn, draw a card. So this can act as combat tricks for your opponent, that if you have a weather change rain and the opponent doesn't play around your resonators having certain stats, then you can punish them with playing a quick cast 1 cost card. This deck has 8 1-drops, 8 2-drops, and 8 3-drops. So you're looking to curve out basically really easily. Your premium 1-drop is Princess Shayla's Attendant. We have a continuous ability again. This card gains 200/200 as long as the weather is rain. So that will be 500/500 for a 1-drop. Your opponent will generally not block this. Next we have Peko the Wise Dolphin. Peko the Wise Dolphin says this card gains flying as long as the weather is rain. This is important for a 2-cost card because it has flying attached to 600/600, so it doesn't have any negative effects. This guy should be able to push through a lot of damage. So if you're looking to play a tempo or even aggro oriented list, then this guy should be your focus. Angelic Voice Mermaid is the second lot of 1-drops that we have. When this card enters the field, draw a card if the weather is rain. Because the weather is always rain on your turn, if you play Shaela, you will always draw a card. This is just a good cantrip resonator. Next we have the White Whale. This card cannot attack or block unless the weather is rain. It doesn't really matter that we can't block with this guy, because if we're playing a high tempo oriented game, we're looking just to attack anyway. We're not looking to play defensively, and so it doesn't matter if it's not rain on the opponent's turn, because for 3 costs, we're just turning this card sideways, and then we're going to bounce the blocker, whoever they block. Shayla's Elite is our next 2-drop that we have. When this card enters the field, search your deck for a mermaid not named Shayla's Elite, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So it's 2 costs, 600/600 again, and the mermaid that we really want to pull is Aqua Rifle Mermaid. When this card enters the field, rest target resonator. If the weather is rain, return it to its owner's hand instead. So our perfect curve would be Princess Shayla's Attendant, into Shayla's Elite, into Aqua Rifle Mermaid. This means that your 1-cost card should be able to swing 3 times, 2 times, and then you'll bounce the 2-drop or 3-drop that your opponent plays with Aqua Rifle Mermaid. That means that your 500/500 and your 600/600 will then be able to attack as well, either trading into the 1 or 2-cost card that your opponent played, or being able to push 1100 damage to face. That's pretty relevant. So some of the combat tricks that we can play is Cleansing Rain. It's a quick cast 2-cost card. Return target resonator to its owner's hand. If the weather is rain, put it on top of its owner's deck instead. This is really good because we're looking to bounce a blocker. So if you go to the combat step, choose to attack with a resonator, and then it'll go to blocker blocks phase. Your opponent will choose a blocker, and then once they target that, you can Cleansing Rain and target the blocker and bounce it on top of the owner's deck. This is really good. Next we have Electrical Discharge. Up to 2 target resonators don't recover during the controller's next recovery phase. This card deals 600 damage to them if the weather is rain. So this allows us to ping and also stun the opponent's board. That's pretty good when you're looking at pushing damage late game. This is a 3-cost water chant. It's okay, we'll play this at 2 copies. Shaela's Foresight is not really the card that this deck wants to play if you're looking to push early game damage, because it says put target attacking Resonator on top of its owner's deck. That's only if you want to play defensively. This deck is not really wanting to do that. Sure, it has another line that you can use, draw a card, so you can cycle it if it's dead, or you can start to invest in late game strategies protecting your whale and whatnot from other attacks and stuff. But if you have a replacement for this card, we'll talk about that later. Next we have Spinning Aquasol. Put target chant from your graveyard into your hand. You're looking at recycling your Weather Change Rain so you can draw more cards, and you're looking for your Cleansing Rain as well, because that will allow you to push a lot of damage. Now this deck has a few Lapis Cluster cards that can be an upgrade. Detachment is one of them. Put a target attacking or blocking Resonator on top or bottom of its owner's deck. This is important because you want to put the slow cards on top of the opponent's deck and then put the fast cards onto the bottom of the opponent's deck. The next card that we could consider an upgrade for this deck is Guide to the Ancient Ice Wall. It's a 3-cost Resonator, 600 1000. Whenever you play a Water Chant or Addition, target Resonator cannot be blocked until end of turn. This is really cool because we fetch out with Shaela's ability a Water Chant all the time, and it can be easily comboed with Dance of Inspiration. Target water Resonator gains 0 plus 400 until end of turn. Recover that Resonator. So what you want to do is resolve the Guide to the Ancient Ice Wall, and then you'll attack with something else, and then you'll chase the attack by playing Dance of Inspiration on it to recover. Now, just because it recovers doesn't mean that the attack is cancelled. It'll then go to blocker's block phase, and because you played a Water Chant, you can target a Resonator, cannot be blocked until end of turn. You'll choose the one that you're attacking with, the opponent cannot block. You'll then resolve that damage, and then you can go back in and attack again with the Resonator that you have cast Dance of Inspiration on. It's a really cool gimmicky combo with 2 easy to play cards, and it fits the idea of the deck, just pushing early game damage. Next we have Rachel's Alamat's Advisor. It has Inheritance, 2-cost blue, so you can pay the 2 blue and then discard the card from your hand to activate the Inheritance, and you get to return target Resonator to its owner's hand. This is another good replacement for Shaela's Foresight as well, and it plays around Severing Winds and a few other cards in the format. Otherwise it's just a 600 for 2. Kind of average. Next card is here just because it's an idea. This is Ea, God of Water. This card gains plus 500, and this card cannot be blocked as long as you control 7 or more Water Magic Stones. Resonance, Water Magic Stone, draw a card. So whenever you call a stone, you get to draw a card. That's pretty important in a tempo or / aggro oriented deck where you look to push a lot of damage. You're not going to get to 7 Water Magic Stones very quickly, and you really want to have the game won by then, but it is an option. Maybe if you wanted to replace the whales, you could do that with this and play a little bit more defensively, keeping the Shaela's Foresight in the deck. But I think because if you can curve out so easily with Princess Shaela's Attendant, Shaela's Elite into AGGRO Rifle Mermaid, I don't think Ea is really needed. This deck was kind of the premise on how we found that water was so good within limited format by picking up and playing the Shaela's Elite and Aqua Rifle Mermaids. Water is almost considered an aggro, Resonator aggro within rare cluster only, because you have the combat tricks for blockers, you have the high statted Resonators very early in the game. A 1000 for 3 is pretty good within this format specifically. Follow us on Facebook for more exclusive content. We have now Dank Jank for those left field kind of decks on Wednesdays being posted up there, made by the crew. And then we'll soon feature our Advent of the Demon King set review on there as well, so check us out. Thanks for watching.